The war had lasted too long. No one could remember a time before it. Children were born into it. People died because of it. It was all anyone knew. Earth's fleets were battered. Planets once full of life now floated as cold, dead rocks in space. The enemy, the Vexari, were not like humans. They did not speak like humans. They did not think like humans. They came from deep space, in swarms that moved like storms across the stars, and they wanted to erase humanity. For years, Earth fought back. Brave men and women gave everything to stop the Vexari, but every battle left fewer ships, fewer soldiers, and more fear. Commander Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of the USS Valiant, staring out at the remains of Mars Station Theta. Once, it had been a hub of trade and science. Now it was broken and burning. "Report," he said, his voice calm but tired. A young officer stepped forward. "Sir, we lost 3 squadrons near Sector 9. Enemy numbers are higher than expected." Ethan nodded. He already knew. The reports were always the same: losses, damage, more death. He looked around the bridge. Faces stared back at him. Young faces, scared faces. They trusted him. They followed his orders. And still, the war dragged on. "We push forward," he said finally. "We don't have a choice." Behind him, Captain Rebecca Hayes shook her head. She was older than most on the bridge. Her eyes showed the weight of too many battles. "You know what this means," she said quietly. Ethan turned to her. "Yes, Operation Black Dawn. It was a plan made in desperation, a weapon so powerful it could end the war in one strike, but at a terrible cost." The Vexari Hive Center was located near a cluster of neutral systems. If Earth used the quantum torpedoes, the blast would collapse the local star field. Millions of lives, Vexari and others, would be wiped out, but if they didn't do it, the war would go on, and Earth would fall. "I've read the simulations," Rebecca said. "We lose millions of innocent lives." Ethan closed his eyes for a moment. "If we don't act now, we lose billions," Rebecca didn't answer. She only looked away. The order was given. Ships moved into position. The Valiant led the charge, flanked by what remained of Earth's fleet. Fighters darted through space like fireflies. Bombers carried the deadly payload toward the target. The Vexari sensed danger. Their swarm surged forward to meet the attack. Ships clashed in a storm of fire and light. Ethan watched as the first wave hit. Explosions lit up the void. One of their cruisers exploded, torn apart by Vexari plasma fire. Then another. Still, they pressed on. "Target locked," a voice called from the weapons station. Ethan took a breath. His fingers hovered over the command console. "Launch the torpedoes." The screen lit up as 6 quantum torpedoes streaked through space. They moved fast, silent, deadly. Everyone on the bridge held their breath. Then the screen went white. When the light faded, the battlefield was gone. Where the Vexari hive had been, there was only silence. Only darkness. The blast had collapsed the local gravity field. Nearby systems had vanished. Not just the Vexari, whole colonies, civilizations, worlds that had never fired a shot in the war. The war was over, but the cost was unimaginable. Back on Earth, people cheered. They didn't know what had happened. All they knew was the Vexari were gone. Peace had come. Ethan returned as a hero. Parades were held in his name. Speeches praised his bravery. Statues were built. But Ethan saw the truth. He walked past crowds who waved flags and smiled. He shook hands with leaders who called him a savior. Inside, he felt nothing. At night, he dreamed of fire. He dreamed of the worlds that were gone. He dreamed of the voices that cried out in silence. Months passed. The galaxy began to recover. Or tried to. Alien nations sent messages. Some thanked Earth for ending the war. Others asked questions. What had happened? How had the Vexari been destroyed so suddenly? No one told them the truth. Not yet. But the truth had a way of coming out. One day, a message arrived from the planet Kalor Prime. Kalor was a peaceful world, neutral during the war, home to a species known as the Tyranni, tall, blue-skinned beings who valued peace above all else. Their message was short. We mourn those lost in the destruction of our sister worlds. We ask only for answers. Their words hit like thunder, because Kalor had not been alone. 3 other neutral planets had been caught in the blast. 3 worlds filled with life. 3 worlds erased. Now the galaxy began to ask questions. Why had Earth done this? Was this justice or was this something else? Fear began to grow. Whispers spread among alien nations. That Earth was dangerous. That humanity was not to be trusted. The war had ended. But now, something worse had begun. Resentment, suspicion, fear. Ethan sat alone in his quarters aboard the Valiant. The ship no longer flew into battle. It was a relic now, a symbol of victory. He stared at the stars outside. He thought about the choices he had made. He thought about the lives lost. He thought about the future. And for the first time since the war ended, he felt afraid. Not of enemies, but of what humanity had become, because the galaxy remembered. And now they feared the name of Earth. Years had passed since the end of the war. The stars no longer burned with battle fire. Ships no longer flew into death. Peace had come, but not for everyone. Lena Torres sat at her desk inside the human embassy on Kalor Prime. She was young, smart, and full of hope when she first arrived. But hope was hard to keep alive in a place where no one trusted you. The Tyranni were tall and blue-skinned, with calm voices and careful eyes. They had survived the war, but their hearts still carried pain. 3 of their sister worlds had been destroyed in the final strike. Millions lost. All because of Earth. And now they looked at Lena like she was part of that loss. She wore the uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. It meant nothing here. Every day was the same. Meetings filled with silence, words spoken with cold politeness, offers of help turned down without thanks. Still she tried. She believed in peace. She believed that trust could be rebuilt. That humanity could show the galaxy it was more than just weapons and war. But every step forward felt like walking uphill. One morning, Lena walked through the capital city of Valor. The buildings were tall and curved like waves. The sky was purple, lit by twin suns. Life moved around her. Tyranni traders, alien diplomats, local workers. None of them looked at her. She stopped at a small cafe near the embassy. It was quiet. Only a few people inside. She ordered tea and sat by the window. Outside, a group of children played in the street. One of them dropped his toy. Lena smiled as he ran to pick it up. A voice broke her thoughts. "You are the human diplomat." Lena turned. A Tyranni woman stood behind her. Her skin was deep blue, her eyes dark and sharp. "Yes," Lena said, trying to smile. "Can I help you?" "I am Mira Yalun," the woman said. "I work for the Concordium, the Galactic Concordium, the main government of the allied alien nations, the group that made the rules, the group that watched Earth very closely." Lena straightened. "It's good to meet you." Mira sat across from her. "You have been here for 6 months. You have asked for meetings. We have not given them." "I understand," Lena said carefully. "No," Mira said. "You do not. You think we are being cruel. We are being careful." Lena kept her face calm. "We want to rebuild trust." "Trust?" Mira leaned forward. "Your kind used a weapon that killed millions of innocent lives, not just Vexari. Neutral worlds. Worlds that did nothing to you." Lena swallowed. "That attack was a mistake." "A mistake?" Mira's voice grew colder. "Or a message?" Lena didn't answer right away. She knew what many in the galaxy thought. That Earth had sent a warning. That humanity would not be stopped. That power ruled now. "We don't believe in that," she said finally. "Not all of us." Mira studied her for a long time. Then she stood. There will be a meeting, she said. At the Concordium Hall, in 2 days. Lena's heart beat faster. Thank you. Mira gave a small nod. Do not waste this chance. Then she walked away. The meeting took place in the grand hall of the Concordium. It was a massive building made of white stone and glowing lights. Delegates from dozens of species gathered there. Lena stood before them, hands folded in front of her. She wore her best suit. Her voice was steady. My name is Lena Torres, she began. I represent the United Earth government. I come here not to excuse the past, but to learn from it. She paused, looking at the faces before her. Some watched with interest, others with doubt. The war changed us, she continued. It made us strong. But it also made us afraid. And fear leads to bad choices. She saw movement in the crowd. A Zevran delegate shifted in his seat. His kind had lost a colony in the blast. We know what we did cannot be undone, Lena said. But we can choose what comes next. We can choose peace. We can choose to move forward, together. Silence followed. Then a voice called out. And if Earth decides to use such weapons again? Lena met the speaker's eyes. He was from the Thalaxian race, tall, armored, with deep red skin. We won't, she said firmly. We've seen what happens when we lose control. We won't make that mistake again. Another voice rose. How do we know you speak for all of Earth? Lena hesitated. That was the real question, wasn't it? She couldn't promise that Earth would never fall back into old ways. But she could promise that some of them still believed in something better. I can't speak for everyone, she admitted, but I can speak for those of us who still believe in peace. And I ask you to give us a chance to prove it. More silence. Then slowly one delegate nodded. Then another. Mira Yellen stood. There will be talks, she said. We will listen, but we will watch. Lena bowed her head. Thank you. As the meeting ended, she stepped outside, heart pounding. She had taken the first step, but she knew it was only the beginning. Weeks passed. Talks between Earth and the Concordium began. Small steps, trade agreements, cultural exchanges. Nothing big. Nothing fast. But Lena worked hard. She met with leaders. She listened. She helped build new ties. Still, shadows remained. Rumors spread among the diplomatic circles. Strange reports came from distant systems. Minor trade disputes turning violent. Accusations against Earth-made ships. Attacks on neutral colonies. Some said it was just bad luck. Others weren't so sure. Then came the news from Kalor 9. A mining world, home to a small Terreni settlement. Rich in rare metals, a human freighter had landed there. Then, within hours, the entire colony was gone, burned to the ground. Survivors said they saw humans in black uniforms. No markings, no identification. The Concordium exploded in anger. Meetings were canceled, trade routes blocked, demands for punishment poured in. Lena tried to stop the storm. She begged for time, for proof, for a chance to investigate. But no one wanted to wait. Earth was under suspicion again, and this time, the galaxy was ready to act. Lena stood alone in her quarters, staring at the report. She read the words over and over. Evidence points to human involvement. Ship logs match registered Earth cargo vessel, Nova Dawn. Survivors confirm human attackers. Her stomach turned. This couldn't be true, could it? She knew Earth had enemies, people who wanted to see it fail. But what if someone inside Earth had done this? What if someone wanted the galaxy to hate them again? She needed answers, she needed help, and she knew only one person who might believe her, Ethan Cole. She sent the message. Just a simple request. Need to talk. About Kalor 9. Please respond. She waited. Hours passed. Then a reply. I'll meet you, but not on Kalor. Somewhere safe. She replied quickly. Where? His answer came a moment later. Old Mars Station. The ruins. Her breath caught. That place was dead. Abandoned. But maybe, just maybe, it held the truth. The old Mars station was nothing more than ruins now. Once a hub for trade and science, it had been left to drift in silence after the war. Its lights were gone. Its halls were dark. Time had turned it into a graveyard of broken metal and forgotten dreams. Lena Torres stepped off her small shuttle and looked around. Dust floated in the low gravity. Her boots made soft thuds on the cold floor. She pulled her coat tighter against the chill. She wasn't alone for long. A figure stepped out from the shadows. Tall, lean, worn by time and memory. Ethan Cole. He looked older than she remembered. His face was tired, his eyes sharp. He wore a simple jacket and a belt with a sidearm. More for comfort than use. "You came," he said. "So did you," Lena replied. They stood there for a moment, just looking at each other. Then Ethan nodded toward the deeper parts of the station. "Let's talk." They walked through the broken corridors, their footsteps echoing in the empty space. Lights flickered above them, casting long shadows that danced on the walls. "I read about Kalor 9, Ethan said finally. "It doesn't look good for us." Lena shook her head. "I don't believe it. Not yet. Something feels wrong about this whole thing." Ethan stopped walking and turned to her. "You think someone is framing Earth?" "I think someone wants the galaxy to hate us again," she said. "And I need your help to find out who." Ethan studied her for a long time. Then he sighed. "Why me?" "Because you've seen what happens when fear rules," Lena said. "And because I know you still care." That hit close. He didn't answer right away. Finally, he nodded. "Okay, let's start with what you have." Back in a small room that once served as an office, Lena opened her tablet. A few taps brought up the reports from Kalor 9. "This ship," she said, pointing to a name on the screen. "The Nova. Dawn. It's registered to a private company called Orion Freight, but when we checked their records, they never owned this vessel." Ethan frowned. "So it's fake?" "Looks like it," Lena said. "Also, the pilot who landed on Kalor 9, his ID checks out, but no one at Orion Freight has ever heard of him." Ethan leaned back in his chair. "Someone used Earth tech. Made it look like we did this." "But why?" Lena asked. "What do they gain?" Ethan looked at her. "Fear? Control? Maybe both?" Lena felt a chill run down her spine. "You think someone inside Earth is doing this?" Ethan didn't answer right away. He stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the red dust of Mars swirled in slow motion. "There are people in our government," he said quietly, "who never wanted peace. They saw the end of the war as a loss, not a victory." Lena stared at him. "You mean General Boone?" Ethan turned back. "Exactly. General Derek Boone. A war hero during the Vexari conflict. A man known for his strength, his voice, and his belief that humanity should never apologize, it should lead. He had retired after the war, or so everyone thought." "Do you think he's behind this?" Lena asked. "I don't know," Ethan admitted. "But if he is, then this is just the beginning." They needed answers. Fast. Lena returned to Kalor Prime under the cover of night. She couldn't go through official channels anymore. If someone in Earth Command was involved, then every move she made could be watched. Instead, she reached out to an old contact, Milo Grant. Milo had been a Marine during the war. Now he ran cargo between planets. A smuggler, some might say. A realist, others would call him. She found him in a backroom bar near the docks. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with a scar across his cheek. When he saw her, he raised an eyebrow. "Lena Torres," he said. "Didn't expect to see you again." "I need your help," she said. He took a sip of his drink. "With what?" "Finding the truth about Kalor 9. Milo gave a dry laugh. "You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not exactly big on politics." "It's bigger than politics," Lena said. "This could start another war." That made him pause. He looked at her for a long time. Then he sighed. Fine, but I want something in return. What? Answers, he said. About my brother. He died in a strike. Team near the end of the war. Never got a full report. Lena nodded. I'll get you the truth. Milo stood. Then let's get started. Their first stop was the planet Ralcor 3, a mining world known for its black market deals and hidden networks. They met with a contact named Jax, a wiry man with too many tattoos and a nervous twitch. You're asking dangerous questions, Jax said as he poured himself a drink. We already know the Nova Dawn isn't real, Lena said. We need to know who used it. Jax took a long sip. Then he leaned in. There's a group, operates in the shadows. Some say they work for Earth intelligence. Others say they answer to higher-ups. Who? Milo asked. Jax looked around nervously. They call themselves the Order. Ethan stiffened. I've heard that name before. Lena looked at him. When? After the war, Ethan said. There were rumors that certain groups within Earth's military were planning for something bigger, that the Vexari attack was just the start. Lena felt her stomach tighten. You mean they wanted the war? Ethan nodded slowly. Some people profit from chaos and power. Back on Earth, Lena tried to dig deeper, but doors began to close. Her access to files was limited. People who once talked to her suddenly went silent. Then came the warning, a message, anonymous, sent to her private link. Stop digging. You won't like what you find. She showed it to Ethan. He read it and cursed. Under his breath. They know. They're watching us, Lena whispered. Ethan looked serious. Then we move fast. The next clue came from an unexpected source. A former intelligence officer named Carla Reed. She had left the service years ago, claiming she wanted out of the lies. Lena found her living in a quiet town on Earth's southern continent. Carla was older now, with gray hair and tired eyes. But she remembered everything. You want to know about the Order? She asked, sipping tea. They're real, and they've been around longer than most people think. Who leads them? Lena asked. Carla looked at Ethan. People like you. Ethan frowned. What does that mean? You were part of the war machine, Carla said. You helped build the myth of Earth's unstoppable force. But the Order, they took it further. They believed in control, in shaping the galaxy through fear. Lena felt sick. And General Boone? Carla nodded. He's one of them. Maybe the strongest. Ethan stood. If they're behind Kalor 9, then they're setting things in motion. For what? Lena asked. Carla looked at her. A new war. One where Earth doesn't fight to survive, but to rule. Lena left that meeting with a heavy heart. She had come to Earth hoping to find allies. Instead, she found enemies hiding in plain sight. And worse, she realized something else. The galaxy feared humanity, but maybe they weren't wrong to. The truth was out there, hidden in files that no longer existed, buried in whispers from people too scared to speak. But Lena Torres had seen enough to know one thing. Earth was not what it seemed. Behind the mask of peace, something darker moved, and she wasn't safe anymore. She sat in a small room on a quiet spaceport orbiting Earth. The walls were metal. The lights flickered. Outside, ships came and went like ghosts in the dark. Ethan Cole stood by the window watching the stars. They're watching us, he said. Lena looked up from her tablet. They already knew we were digging. They don't want us to find more, Ethan replied. That means we're close. Milo Grant walked into the room, his face tight with worry. I just got a message, he said. From someone inside intelligence. Lena sat up. Who? A contact, Milo said. He says he used to work for the Order. He wants to talk. Ethan frowned. Why now? He says they're moving, Milo said. Fast. If we don't act soon, it'll be too late. Lena felt her heart beat faster. Where do we meet him? On Ganymede Station, Milo said. It's neutral ground, no Earth control, No Concordium eyes. Ethan nodded. We go. Tonight. Ganymede Station was old. Built long before the war, it floated in silence near Jupiter. Most of its lights were off. Most of its halls were empty, but some parts still worked. They met their contact in a small bar near the docking bay. He was a thin man with tired eyes. His name was Dale Norris. He didn't look like a spy. He looked like someone who had seen too much. You must be Torres, he said, looking at Lena. I am, she said. You have something for us? Dale took a deep breath. I used to work for Earth Intelligence before I left, before I realized what we were doing. What did you realize? Ethan asked. That the Order isn't just about protecting Earth, Dale said. They never were. They've been planning this for years. Planning what? Milo asked. A new war, Dale said. One where we don't fight because we have to, but because we want to. Lena felt cold. You mean conquest? Dale nodded. They believe humanity should rule the galaxy, that we were made for power. And after the Vexari attack, they saw their chance. Ethan leaned forward. How deep does this go? All the way to the top, Dale said. General Boone is just one piece. There are others, politicians, scientists, military leaders, all part of it. Lena swallowed hard. What's their next move? Dale hesitated. Then he whispered, They're going after the Concordium. Silence filled the room. The Concordium? Milo asked. Why? To break the alliance, Dale said. If they destroy the center of galactic government, the other species will turn on each other. And when the dust settles, Earth will be the only power left. Ethan stood. We need to warn them. No, Dale said quickly. You can't go through official channels. Some of our own people are working with the Order. If you try to stop them the wrong way, you'll be silenced. Lena looked at Ethan. Then how do we stop this? Dale gave her a sad look. You have to expose them, all of them, before they strike. Back on Earth, things began to fall apart. Lena tried to send messages to the Concordium, but her links were blocked. Her access was cut. Someone inside Earth Command was shutting her down. She called a meeting with Carla Reed, the former intelligence officer who had warned them before. They met in a hidden lab beneath an old research facility. Dust covered everything. The air smelled like rust and time. Carla looked nervous as she handed Lena a data chip. This is everything I could save, she said. Internal reports, secret meetings, names. Lena took the chip. This is what we need. Carla shook her head. It won't be enough. Why not? Because people don't always care about the truth, Carla said. Not if they profit from the lie. Lena stared at her. Then what do we do? Carla looked at Ethan. You have to show them, not just tell them. You have to prove it. Ethan nodded slowly. We broadcast it. Lena's eyes widened. To the whole galaxy? Yes, Ethan said. Let everyone see what's happening. Let the Tyranni, the Zevran, the Thalaxians, everyone. They'll come after us, Milo said. They already are, Ethan said. But if the truth is everywhere, they can't hide it. The plan was risky. They needed a secure signal tower, one strong enough to reach across the stars. There was only one place that could do it. Old Mars Station. The ruins still had some power, enough to send a message that would echo across every system. They traveled undercover, moving between planets, changing ships, hiding from watchers. Finally, they reached the station. Inside, the air was cold. The lights flickered. But the main console still worked. Ethan stood at the command panel. Lena uploaded the files. Names, dates, missions, lies. All of it. Milo watched. The door. Gun ready. We're broadcasting live, Lena said. Now or never. Ethan pressed the button. A signal shot out into space, across the stars, to every world, to every ship, to every eye that could see, and the galaxy watched. The response was instant. Reports spread like fire. Alien governments demanded answers. Protests broke out on Earth. People saw the truth, saw the lies, saw the plans for war. General Boone issued a denial, but no one believed him. The Concordium called for emergency talks. They wanted Earth to answer for what had happened. The Order tried to shut it all down. They sent agents to silence Lena, to capture Ethan, to kill Milo. But it was too late. The truth was free. Still, the danger wasn't over. Boone and his allies wouldn't stop. They had spent years building their empire of fear, and they weren't going to let it fall without a fight. As Lena stood on the bridge of a stolen ship, watching the stars, she felt both hope and fear. Hope because the galaxy now knew the truth. Fear because the battle was far from over. And somewhere in the dark, the enemy was preparing for what came next. Earth was on the edge. The broadcast had spread across the stars like fire. Every species saw what the Order had planned. Every government demanded answers, and every eye turned to Earth with fear and anger. On the planet's surface, protests filled the streets. Some people were angry at the lies. Others were angry that the truth had come out. General Derek Boone stood in the center of Earth Command. His face was hard. His voice was cold. "They have ruined us," he said to the officers around him. "Torres, Cole, they think they've won." One of his top aides stepped forward. "Sir, we still have control of the fleet. We can contain this." Boone shook his head. "Containment won't be enough. If we don't act now, the galaxy will turn against us for good." His aide hesitated. "What are you saying?" Boone looked at the screen in front of him. It showed the Concordium homeworlds, peaceful planets, powerful allies. He pressed a button. "Prepare for launch," he said. "We strike first." In space, chaos grew. Alien fleets gathered near Sol system, not to attack, yet, but to watch, to wait. Some wanted peace talks, others wanted justice, and some feared what Earth might do next. Lena Torres watched it all from a small ship hidden near the ruins of Old Mars Station. She sat with Ethan Cole and Milo Grant. "We did it," she said quietly. "They know the truth." Ethan didn't look happy. "But it's not over." "No," Milo agreed. "It's just starting." A message came in from Kalor Prime. "The Concordium demands immediate action. Earth must answer for its actions. We await your response." Lena stared at the screen. "They want us to speak for Earth." Ethan shook his head. "We don't speak for Earth. Not anymore." Milo crossed his arms. "Then who does?" "No one," answered, because no one knew. Back on Earth, General Boone moved fast. He declared martial law. He shut down communication lines. He ordered loyal forces to take control of key systems. His goal was clear. Earth would not beg for peace. Earth would not apologize. Earth would strike first. He stood before his top commanders. "The galaxy thinks we are weak," he said. "That we should bow our heads and ask for forgiveness, but I say this. Our strength is our future. Our power is our right." The room filled with quiet agreement. "They fear us," Boone continued. "Good. Let them fear us." A young officer raised his hand. "Sir, if we attack, we risk full-scale war." Boone gave a cold smile. "Then let it come." Lena, Ethan, and Milo knew they had little time. If Boone launched a strike, there would be no going back. They needed proof. Real proof. Something that could stop the war before it started. They needed to get inside Earth Command. Milo frowned. "That place is locked down tighter than a vault." Ethan looked at Lena. "You still have contacts?" She nodded slowly. "One, maybe. Carla Reed, the former intelligence officer who had helped them before. They sent her a message. 'We need access to Command HQ. Can you help?' Minutes passed. Then a reply came. 'I can get you in, but only once. Come tonight.' That night, they landed in a secret hangar beneath the city of New York. The sky above was dark. Rain fell in slow, heavy drops. Carla waited for them inside. "You're crazy," she said as they stepped into the underground base. Do you know how many people are looking for you? Lena smiled. That's why we need you. Carla led them through winding halls, past guards, past security checkpoints. Finally, they reached the main data core. This is it, Carla said. Everything the Order has done. Everything Boone has planned. Ethan stepped forward. Can we copy it? Yes, Carla said, but you'll need time. We don't have time, Milo muttered. Outside, alarms began to sound. They found us, Carla said. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Boone's men. Gunfire broke out. Ethan took point, firing at the approaching soldiers. Milo covered the rear. Lena worked fast, copying the files onto a secure drive. Carla stayed beside her. Almost there, Lena whispered. The door burst open. Soldiers poured in, weapons raised. Drop your weapons, one shouted. Ethan and Milo stood their ground. Then, a voice cut through the noise. Stand down. Everyone turned. General Boone himself walked into the room. He looked calm, confident. I wondered when you'd show up, he said to Ethan. Ethan kept his gun steady. You're going to start a war. Boone smiled. No, I'm going to win one. Lena stepped forward. You think you can scare the galaxy into submission? Boone looked at her. They already fear us. Why pretend otherwise? Ethan's voice was low. Because fear doesn't last, honor does. Boone laughed. Honor? That's what lost us the war. No, Ethan said. It saved us. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then Boone gestured to his men. Take them. But before they could move, the lights went out. An explosion rocked the building. Alarms blared. From the shadows, new figures appeared. Rebels, men and women from within Earth's own military. People who had seen the truth, who had chosen a different path. Gunfire erupted again. Chaos filled the room. Ethan grabbed Lena. Move! They ran through the smoke and fire. Behind them, Boone shouted orders, but it was too late. The plan was unraveling. They made it outside. The city was in chaos, people in the streets. Fires burning, ships flying overhead. They reached their ship and took off. As they rose into the sky, Lena looked down. Earth was falling apart. Not from aliens, from itself. Back in orbit, the alien fleet still waited. A message came in. This is the Concordium. We demand an answer. Will Earth seek peace or war? Lena took a deep breath. She opened a channel. This is Lena Torres, acting representative of Earth. Silence followed. Then a voice replied. Go on. We do not support the actions of General Boone, Lena said. We reject his plans. We reject war. She paused. We stand for peace. The line stayed silent. Then another voice spoke. We hear you, Earth. We will wait. The channel closed. Inside Earth Command, Boone stood alone. His forces were scattered, his plans undone. He looked at the stars beyond the window. For the first time in his life, he felt powerless, and somewhere deep inside, he wondered if he had been wrong. The galaxy watched Earth with cautious eyes, after the chaos, after the lies, after the near war. Humanity had stood at the edge of destruction and stepped back. It wasn't enough to erase the past, but it was a start. Lena Torres stood on the observation deck of the USS Horizon, a ship that once served as a military vessel but now carried diplomats, scientists, and peacekeepers. She looked out at the stars and felt both tired and hopeful. She had spent months running, hiding, fighting. Now she was building something new. Peace. Not the kind that came from silence or fear, but the kind that came from choice. Behind her, Ethan Cole walked in. He looked different now. Less like a soldier, more like someone who had found his place again. You've been quiet, he said. I'm thinking, Lena replied, about everything we've done. Ethan leaned against the railing beside her. Do you think it matters? She turned to him. What do you mean? He looked at the stars. We stopped Boone. We exposed the truth. But does that change what happened? Does that bring back the lives lost in the blast? Does it make the Tyranny trust us again? Lena didn't answer right away. No, she finally said. But it shows them we're trying. Ethan gave a small smile. That might be enough for now. On Kalor Prime, the first steps toward healing had begun. The Concordium opened talks with Earth's new civilian-led government. For the first time in years, leaders were chosen not by power or fear, but by the people. Lena was invited to speak at the Grand Hall. She stood before hundreds of alien delegates. Some were old enemies, some were new allies. All of them listened. My name is Lena Torres, she began. I come here not to ask for forgiveness, I come to offer something else. She paused. Change. Murmurs spread through the crowd. We know what our species has done, she continued. We cannot undo the past, but we can shape the future, and we want to do it together, with all of you. Silence followed. Then slowly, one delegate stood, then another, and another. One by one they clapped, not in celebration, but in recognition. Earth had taken a step forward. It was only the beginning. Back on Earth, the world was changing too. General Boone was arrested. Trials were held. Truths were spoken. Some people still believed in his vision. They whispered in dark places, waited for their time, but most saw the cost of his dreams and chose another path. A new defense force was formed, led not by generals, but by civilians. Its mission was clear: protect, not conquer. Ethan Cole was asked to lead it. He refused at first. I'm not a politician, he said. I don't want to sit behind a desk and write rules. But then he thought about the soldiers who died under orders they couldn't question, about the worlds lost because no one dared to say no. So he agreed, not to rule, but to guide, to teach, to remind humanity of what it meant to be more than just strong. Milo Grant left Earth soon after. He never liked politics or speeches or long meetings. He preferred action. So he took his old ship and started traveling across the stars, helping where he could, stopping trouble before it grew. Sometimes he worked alone. Other times, he helped others who wanted peace. He became a legend among smugglers, traders, and rebels alike. They called him many things, but mostly, they called him a friend. Years passed. Time moved forward. The galaxy did not forget, but it began to heal. New alliances formed. Trade routes reopened. Children born after the war knew only stories of the past. Some feared Earth, others respected, and a few even trusted it. Lena traveled often between planets, working to build bridges where there had once been walls. She met young aliens who had grown up hearing tales of Earth's cruelty, and showed them a different side. She spoke to human children who had been taught to see aliens as threats, and taught them to see them as friends. It was slow work, but it mattered. One day, Lena visited Mars Station again, not the ruins this time, a new station built not for war, but for learning. Scientists from many species gathered there, studying the stars, sharing knowledge. She walked through the halls looking at the faces around her. Humans, Tyranny, Zevran, Thalaxians, all working together. She smiled. For the first time in a long while, she felt peace. Not perfect peace, but real peace. Ethan joined her later that evening. He looked out at the stars from the station's main window. This place looks different, he said. Lena nodded. Feels different too. He turned to her. Do you think we made a difference? She looked at him. Yes. He raised an eyebrow. Even though some still hate us? They will, she said. But hatred fades when you give it nothing to feed on. Ethan chuckled. You sound like a teacher now. I learned from the best, she said with a smile. They stood in silence for a moment. Then Ethan spoke again. What now? Lena looked at the stars. Now we keep going. We show the galaxy who we really are. Ethan nodded. Together they watched the stars, waiting, watching, living. Because humanity had once been feared. Now it was being watched, not with fear, but with hope. And maybe that was enough.